Gender equality is any form of discrimination that is based on a person's gender identity, roles, or norms. We need everyone on the same page here because gender equality is not fair. I've heard on the news recently that some people are not being accepted into the U.S. military because of who they are. Passing a law that states transgender people are not allowed in the U.S. military is inequality and telling them they cannot do something because they are different than what we think is the ideal military person. The government does not want to pay for their pricey surgeries, so I believe that the medical expense policy could be changed so transgenders are allowed in the military. They could change it in a way so the government does not have to pay for all of the surgeries, just the necessary ones. My goal is to educate you all on how much the government pays for the military expenses. Today's active duty strength stands at 476,000. This year's in target strength was supposed to be 483,500 in the active Army. States Meghann from the article, "The Army was supposed to be growing, but this year it didn't at all." The United States Army wanted to create a larger army, but fell short of their goal. I believe that if we offered the military to people who identify as transgender, then we would have came closer to this goal. I believe that if the government would pay for only essential surgeries, that we would save money and it would allow anyone to join the military. You do not need a surgery to be a guy or a girl to fight for our country. You only need a foot surgery or something major to fight in the U.S. military. Military people who have served for 3 years will get covered 100% while active. However, the government also covers their bills for 5 years later. If the government puts rules on how much they would cover and not cover, then many more would not have a problem with transgenders joining the military. If the government would not pay for non-essential medical expenses, then this would save money. Which brings me to my next point. Taxpayers have to essentially give their money to the government to help pay for expenses within the U.S. military. Who can become angry when these people are putting their life in danger to save our freedom? However, according to Where Do Our Federal Tax Dollars Go?, approximately 15% of our tax money goes towards the military. Doesn't sound like that much, right? $611 billion is 15% of the federal tax that we are mandated to pay. If our country mandates transgenders to pay taxes, then why do we not allow them into the military? Also, if we stop paying so much towards necessary surgeries, then we can save more money and put more money of that into other parts that other budgets don't get, such as veteran affairs or education. I don't think it's fair to take away someone's freedoms when we claim we live in a free country. As a reminder of what our First Amendment says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of people peacefully to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. If we do not allow transgenders to join the military, we could lose not only them, but people who do not support this ban. They already feel so different the way they are, and by passing this law is making them stand out even more. Like I had mentioned earlier, the United States wanted to hit a certain goal of military people, but fell short. I truly believe that if they needed that number of people, then they would not have banned the transgenders from joining the military. They are just as human as everyone else and deserve the same freedoms as we do. To conclude, I know this is a touchy subject, but I feel that it is important enough to talk about. Although it's a difficult topic, I feel it's not fair to take away one's rights because someone else doesn't agree with their life choices. Today, we went over that the government does not need to pay for all surgeries and just the essential ones. If they paid for the necessary surgeries, then the taxpayers would save more money, and overall why it isn't fair. I truly believe we would save so much money by paying for just the necessary surgeries rather than all of them, when people can still fight without some surgeries. I believe that it isn't fair that we take away someone's rights because they are different when we claim we live in a free country. and here are my resources.